Okay, so this is shit that, I mean, I don't really think it's secret because it's out in the open if you have the foundational knowledge to know what's going on, but we're going to be discussing what you would call the Illuminati. You know, a lot of people will go, oh, Illuminati, blah, 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 and kind of just mouth off bullshit. And it's, well, most of them just say inconsequential bullshit and surface level stuff that really has no has no purpose in your mind whatsoever, knowing the reality and the what you call the soft white underbelly of the situation. So the 13 families of the Illuminati, there's 13 families. There are different specific bloodlines inside of each family. So those families, I can give you a large number of where they come from. There's 5 bloodlines in Asia. I know that for certain. I'm not going to say what bloodlines and where they come from. But, you know, obviously we're already well aware because of World War II and other circumstances that Japan is one of the bloodlines. France is a bloodline. Italy's a bloodline. The UK has got a couple bloodlines in it. Irish is one of them. India is a bloodline. Africa is a bloodline. The heart of Africa, like Congo. Democratic Republic of Congo, you know, those certain areas. Egypt, right? Egypt is one. That's one of the bloodlines of the Illuminati, of the black culture. So here's the thing. Like you go look at Egypt, and you know they had some wicked rulers that enslaved an entire culture of people to build pyramids, and Moses had to come over and say, let go of my people, and Pharaoh wouldn't let him go. And what these demons are trying to do right now is they're trying to recreate the stories in the Bible, because they want revelations to come through so the world can burn down, because they're Satanists, but they're doing it in the wrong way. They have the attitude, a lot of these Egyptians that now exist in this day have the attitude of saying that you're judgmental, and why do you judge other people the way that they pray? And it's like, hey, if they're outright casting spells and draining the energy out of people unknowingly, and these people don't even recognize that they're being brought into a satanic cult and that they're being manipulated, then what makes you think you can sit there and judge me the way that I think about things when you're doing all this other crap to other people? So, you know, it's hypocrisy at its finest. Anyways, the Egyptians are no different today than they were in 2,000-3,000 BC. They have enslaved an entire people, and they're trying to invoke Satan into this world. They're part of the Illuminati side that's trying to invoke Satan. 100% this is happening. They're using the TV screen and the computer to do that. Can't fucking believe this shit. I'm gonna be saying all this, but okay. So the 13 families, you'll notice that there's specific bloodlines of each family that have been isolated on either a peninsula or an island. You know, they're geographically isolated, and I've come down to the conclusion that it's definitely mostly peninsulas or islands. And so one of the families that's cursed is the Jamaican bloodline. There's a family of Jamaican people on the island there that are just wicked people that practice voodoo and witchcraft. So that's one. Another one would be like Sicily. The Sicilian Italians are known for anger and violence, and you know, maybe not so much all of them, you know what I mean, but you know, when they get what you would call a cultural stereotype, it's for a reason, not because everyone hates them. You know, so when someone gets a cultural stereotype, it's a reality check, because enough people see it to recognize it is what it is. It's not like a big group of people get together and start hating on someone. You know, well, 20 years ago that wasn't the case. Nowadays people can get online, they can all group together, and they can all make a big old fucking hate story about someone they want to toss in the dumpster. And so when you have someone that, like me, that just won't go along with the program because he sees what the fuck everyone else is doing and doesn't like how they play the game, Yeah, you can have basically a big tidal wave of assholes just trying to run you into the ground. That being said, not all Egyptians are bad people, but there are some nasty ones out there that are doing some really bad shit that I don't like. So that's one of the issues, is that you have problems with this sort of situation, because there's a few of them that I like. I think they're pretty cool, but the vast majority have just tried to burn me and treat me of less than poor quality. And one of them's she's cool, right? And so it makes me very frustrated in a lot of different ways, because I have a couple of different tribes that have been fighting over me, and I wanted to work with one, and I wanted to be taken care of. I wanted to go enjoy myself over there. They were not having it. The people I wanted to work with saw me and were like, "Yeah, you're awesome." And then they're basically their family, all the older people, which are more stubborn and more stuck in their ways, kind of have a superiority complex when it comes to their own race and belief structure. So anyone who's not of that culture gets run through the mill and fucked up and treated like they're less than, dehumanization type of mentality. So I kind of was dehumanized. I ran around for a couple months trying to appease them, and I fucking walked around till my feet bled, and they just told me to keep going. So they treated me basically like less than a human, less than an animal, and it's fucking garbage. So it's a garbage mentality, if you ask me. People shouldn't be treated that way, and this is the 21st century. What the fuck are you people thinking? So same thing with the Egyptians. They're trying to enslave people nowadays. They're trying to enslave an entire culture, and I'm not having it. I'm not allowing them to. I'm not going to go quietly in the night and sit there and allow them to fuck up an entire culture because they think they can repeat history and get away with it a second time around. And they're all up in arms, and they get real nasty with me because they don't like the fact that I see everything. What's happening with me right now is that I'm able to decode all of their bullshit. I'm able to look beyond the veil and realize that what they're doing is obvious to me, and I can itemize it and basically show you precisely what they're doing in a way to the common layman can understand what their operations are, what their future goals are, and what their plans are. Because they're a big entity, right? So it takes a long time for them to kind of maneuver and turn around. So when they start doing something, you can kind of see it, and if you start calling it out to where it's brought to light, they want to adjust or try to turn into a direction one way or another to kind of avoid the pitfalls and traps that occur from being exposed, because they can be stopped and blocked if you expose them. They don't like that because they're a big entity. They can only turn at such a rate. They're slow to maneuver and adjust. Oh, so yeah, back to that. Peninsulas and islands. You look at the Sicilians. There's one island. There's one family. Look at North Korea, right? They're on a peninsula. That's quite a nightmare over there. Sicily's known for that. You can kind of look at the Irish too. They've kind of have their own curses. You got to look at the Druids and ruins and stuff like that. They've had kind of levels of curses in their family for a long time. So you look at Korea. Hangul came out. It's eerily, that's the writing of Korean handwriting is eerily similar to Druid runes halfway around the world and in Europe. And right when Hangul came out is right when the Black Death, the Black Plague, showed up in Europe. So you want to talk about some crazy circumstances that correlate. The Druid runes look almost identical to Hangul handwriting. Hangul showed up the same time the Black Death showed up, right where it's basically its partner image of handwriting existed. These runes are typically used for casting spells and stuff like that, invocations in Druid writing. So you can use those for casting invocations and hand spells. So Hangul is no different, right? Korean Hangul is literally runes that can be used to cast spells. Most of the people of the country probably aren't even aware of that. The younger generation probably don't even know that. But you go over to Korea, there are cats everywhere. There's like handmade witchcraft brooms everywhere. There's people walking backwards. I could go on all day about what's going on over there. They've got people in the K-pop industry that are called idols. So I mean, if you read the Bible at all, you should recognize one of the 10 commandments is thou shalt not worship false idols. And then you've got the seven deadly sins. One of them is pride. 46% of the plastic surgery on the planet comes from Korea. They do some of the best plastic surgery on the planet. A few years ago, they had like mukbang, which is eating on TV type of thing, eating a feast or type of thing. And they had times where people would be like so gluttonous they'd eat 5 or 10 pounds of food, and they would stream it while people would watch. Yeah, I mean, they definitely take everything that is, you would say, of the Christian Bible, and they are doing satanic stuff on a what we would say an entire cultural scale. But yeah, you look at the idols there, and you look at Kim Jong-il being basically an idolized god, and the North and the South have basically run the same way, where the idols in South Korea are treated the same way that you would say that Kim Jong-il is in North Korea. They're both kind of treated like godlike, and that's how you know that the Illuminati, the assholes on top, are running both the North and the South. And I fucking can't keep my mouth shut about this, because it's just too fucking stupid. Too many people are suffering and dying because of people wanting to drain energy out of one country worth of people to put it in the other one. This is a spiritual exchange. Everyone in the North is dying and suffering in abject poverty, so the South can basically have, or whatever you want to call it, spiritual energy. The thing is that they're mostly kind of like dead inside when it comes down to it. They need to absorb personality traits and energy from other people so they can have a personality of their own. And when I went over there for 2 weeks, they sat quietly and watched me, stared at me, tried to figure me out. And I knew what was going on. I recognized that immediately. So I just sat there for the couple months, and I stared at the fucking ocean, stared at the river, because it was like, you know what? I'm not going to give you my real personality so you can sit there and copy it and try and figure out how to be a creature of light. Because I recognize that they've done that before. I'm not the first victim that this has happened to. So I have no idea what happened to other people, if they copied them good enough, if they disappeared them. Because plastic surgery is good enough, they're probably making body doubles. So, want to talk about a crazy ass fucking nightmare? I'm pretty sure that country is what you would call an invasion of the body snatchers. Are you fucking scared yet?